Port Lincoln is known as Australia's seafood capital. The region's plentiful fishing reserves are worth more than $200 million annually. But the city is facing a major shortage of another valuable commodity, drinking water.
The water situation is dire. We're running out of time and we need to act.
The looming crisis is not only affecting Port Lincoln. The majority of South Australia's vast Eyre Peninsula takes its water from the same underground source. Farmer Jamie Severe says over-extraction means the aquifer is predicted to be undrinkable in 2 years' time for the 28,000 people and thousands of livestock that rely on it.
We're 150 kilometres from Port Lincoln. We don't have a river. This area around here is not conducive to dams, just the soil type, and the sort of rainfall that we get is usually smaller amounts and sort of more soaking rains rather than running rains. Without mains water, we can't run sheep.
The South Australian government wants to build a desalination plant near Port Lincoln to avert a region-wide water crisis. But despite the urgent need, there's opposition to the project.
I'm 100% for a desalination plant. I'm just opposed to the location. Well, welcome everybody on the boat in Port Lincoln here. So we'll head out and I'll show you around the place.
Mark Andrews is a mussel grower. He says his business has been built around the abundant natural spat, or baby mussels that float through these waters, the same area earmarked for a huge pipe that will take seawater into the desalination plant.
Let's call it a vacuum cleaner, and that vacuum cleaner is taking in the water through the desalination plant, and my spat goes with it. So it gets sucked into the intake, into the desalination plant, and then therefore it is not out there for me to catch.
After moving through this water, the natural spat settles and grows on ropes. Today Mark's showing members of a state parliamentary committee local mussel farms.
New season's product, we should get around 4 kilos, if not a little bit better, to the metre. Well, I started this business from nothing. Now today we are the largest processor, farmer, marketer of mussels in Australia, representing 65% of the industry. Employing 76 people spread between the factory, boats, office and marketing. Why would you want to put a desalination plant in an aquaculture zone?
SA Water Minister Nick Champion says following industry feedback, pipes will now be placed in deeper water at the location known as Billy Lights Point. He says government scientists have exhaustively examined the potential impact on aquaculture. What is the risk to mussel spat?
Well, the scientists have found that there isn't.
At all? Nothing?
No.
Can you point to any real-life examples which prove there will be no impact to mussel spat?
We've had a committee of scientists examine this. We've had the real...
But it's all based on modelling, isn't it? Are there any real-life examples?
All of these same concerns were raised around Adelaide's desal plant. We could examine this forever if we liked, but we don't have the luxury of time. We will run out of water on the Eyre Peninsula. It will have catastrophic effects for the people of Eyre Peninsula, including the fishing industry.
Billy Lights Point is the cheapest option at an estimated $313 million. Another site was initially chosen further away from aquaculture farms, but it was abandoned because the minister says construction would cost at least $500 million.
You may as well tell me I can build a desal plant on the moon. Like, it's just not a practical place to build one. It's 20k away from Port Lincoln. You have to pump the water uphill. There's no power or water, there's no pipes or anything.
Everybody on the Eyre Peninsula wants water security. A little bit of money extra spent now for the long-term growth and benefit of a region pays dividends.
So I was hoping that maybe
the fishing industry is not alone in its fight.
There's nobody that I've spoken to in our community that has actually said they would like the desal plant at Billy Lights Point.
It was first flagged in 2009. The region would need desalination to secure its future water supply.
I think there's a real frustration in the community, and we're hearing that through this committee, that SA Water and successive governments have sat on their hands for the best part of 15 years on this issue.
Well, I think there's been a lot of wishful thinking around the place, indulgent thinking, frankly, not just in, bureaucratic world or political world, but frankly in the community as well. And it still goes on to this day.
The minister says if the desalination plant isn't built soon, the underground basin will become too saline and permanently damaged.
We're at D-Day here. We don't have the luxury of time, and the alternative is delay will mean disaster.
Hey, go on.
Back on his farm, Jamie Severe sympathises with aquaculture growers, but worries about further delays and what could happen if the aquifer becomes undrinkable.
It would mean that we would have to start reducing our number of sheep, even not having sheep at all.
Mark Andrews says the government can't afford to ignore the aquaculture industry's concerns.
We all want water here on the peninsula, everybody, 100%, but not in an aquaculture zone where there is a risk. Don't make the wrong decision.
The aquifers are running salty. We've exhausted our capacity to, utilise Mother Nature for a water resource. Now's the time to accept the decision, and we need to get on with it.